Many are calling the move historic, while others are criticizing Prime Minister Mark Carney's decision to officially recognize the state of Palestine. Joining us to discuss the Canadian government's commitment is our country's former ambassador to Israel, Jon Allen. Jon, thank you so much for being with us today. I want to start first with getting your reaction on Canada recognizing a Palestinian state here.
I think it's an important statement by Canada. We joined, as you know, a number of other countries, France, the UK, Portugal, Malta, probably Australia, probably 10 countries could end up recognizing the Palestinian state at this UN General Assembly. They would join about 140 odd countries that have already recognized the state. The Prime Minister indicated in his words that Canada was doing this because of concerns that the two-state solution was being threatened by the actions of the Netanyahu government in Israel. Settlement expansion in the West Bank, settler violence, ground invasion, and suggestions by certain Israeli ministers that they wanted to resettle Gaza. All of these actions by the current Israeli government were threatening the two-state solution, which Canada and any number of Western countries have seen as the only way, frankly, to peace and security for both Israel and the Palestinians going forward.
Jon, as you mentioned, in addition to Canada, you have the UK and Australia as well making these declarations here. These are Israeli allies. So what do you think this is communicating to officials in Israel, but also Palestinians?
Well, in respect of Palestinians, I know there are multiple reactions for those in Gaza who are suffering destruction and devastation and a humanitarian crisis. They may be saying, thank you very much, but what we need is an end to the war. I think, though, that Palestinians that are able to think, fortunately, more long-term, they see this as a message of hope and of the Western countries finally bringing this two-state solution back to the fore. It was always there, but it wasn't being discussed much. And ironically, it was the horrific acts of October 7 and what happened there that made the Biden administration and other countries realize that we had to move towards two states again, but really move if we wanted to see peace and security in the region. As far as Israel is concerned, their reaction has been quite extreme. The Prime Minister and his two right-wing Messianic ministers have basically said, well, in response to this, we're going to consider annexing the West Bank, taking full legal sovereignty over the West Bank, which would mean the end, unless it was reversed, of the two-state solution.
Meanwhile, you have the U.S. here. We've heard Donald Trump opposing the move by these countries, Canada, UK, Australia, for instance. So what impact will that have, if any?
Well, in terms of going forward, to recognize and to fulfill the idea of a two-state solution, the Americans are going to have to be involved. So either Donald Trump and his Middle East negotiator, Steve Witkoff, begin to realize that and decide to get on board with supporting two states and ending the settlement activity in the West Bank, or we're going to have to wait until there's another administration in Washington. Because in many ways, the Americans are the only people that the Israelis trust in terms of security and carrying out an adventure as important and delicate as this.
Okay, well, it's got the whole world talking, all eyes as leaders are meeting in the U.S. for the UN General Assembly. We'll see what happens in the coming days and weeks. Jon Allen, we thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.